I think MJ is 1, Kobe is 2, and LeBron is 3. Because
Finally, someone agrees with me.
I tell people all that I don't think MJ had a flaw in his game. You say people say, well, he didn't shoot threes. He could shoot threes when he wanted to shoot threes. He didn't need to shoot threes because you couldn't stop him going to the hole or pulling up on the J. And then Kobe was the same way. And I think LeBron is a fucking great player. So when you say this, people will think, oh, you smacking LeBron in the face. No, I'm not doing. He's still 1C. Kobe's 1B, and this Mike's just his first. And I know the body of work that all these guys have put in, but I just think if you say, is there a flaw in LeBron's game? Yes. Was there a flaw in Kobe's game? He couldn't play post defense. And people don't know, if I say this, people
for real. That's why Bonzi killed him.
Yeah, see, people get mad at me saying it. No, it's like, let's be honest, just watch. And like Kobe, the way he used to play was like this. It's like, you can't play a player like this. You got to have contact. It's so many things like that.
It wasn't offensively.
Yeah, it's just so many things you talk about. And so that's why, to me, that's how you set it up. Because, those other guys got that itty bitty chink in their armor. Little bitty chink. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to, micromanage everything like we do in this world now, that's why you put MJ first.
And he got more rings than all of them.
In the history of the NBA, there are debates that never seem to end. And above them all, the hottest fire always circles one question. Who is the GOAT? The greatest of all time? This isn't just a sports conversation. It's a storm that consumes every space, from the buzzing barbershops on street corners to the bright studios of ESPN, from the fading murals in Chicago to the millions of comments exploding across social media. Every generation has a god to worship, a star to defend, and an enemy to tear down. But then, in the middle of this chaos, there are rare moments when a single voice is enough to silence the noise. A voice that doesn't need to shout, doesn't need theatrics. It simply speaks, and the entire basketball world listens. That voice belongs to Robert Horry. Big Shot Rob, the man who could end entire seasons with one cold-blooded jumper, and the man who owns 7 NBA championship rings. 7 times he climbed the mountain of glory more than Jordan, more than Kobe, more than LeBron. Horry was never a stat sheet superstar, but he was a survivor in the fiercest battlegrounds. He shared locker rooms with Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, and Tim Duncan, immortals of the game. He didn't just see greatness, he lived inside it. He fought beside it. He touched glory with his own hands. And when a man like that speaks, the world goes quiet. Robert Horry doesn't sugarcoat. He doesn't play safe. He doesn't care about appeasing fan bases or avoiding backlash. He speaks bluntly, like a warrior who has stood in the fire of dynasties. MJ is number 1. Kobe is number 2. LeBron is number 3. 3 short sentences, but like 3 hammer strikes, they echoed through the NBA universe and shook its very core. Because this isn't a fan's opinion, nor a hot take for TV ratings. This is the testimony of a man with 7 rings, a living witness to 3 decades of basketball, a man who stood inside the orbit of every version of greatness, someone who owns more rings than Jordan, Kobe, or LeBron, yet still bows his head and admits that only one man stands above them all. When Robert Horry declares Michael Jordan as number 1, it isn't just an opinion, it is a verdict, a proclamation as final as the buzzer at the end of a game. Jordan is the absolute pinnacle of basketball. Michael Jordan, absolute perfection, no flaws. Robert Horry is not a man who hands out empty praise. He shared locker rooms with Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, and Tim Duncan, the very definition of basketball immortals. He knows what greatness looks like, feels like, smells like in the heat of battle. And that is why his words slice through the noise like a blade. Michael Jordan didn't have a flaw in his game. At first, it sounds simple, but stop and compare. Look closely at every other legend, and you'll see why that statement hit the basketball world like a thunderclap. Shaquille O'Neal, a destroyer under the rim, but crippled at the free throw line. Entire defenses were built around hack-a-shack. Kobe Bryant, a near-perfect replica of Jordan himself. But as Horry revealed, there was a tiny weakness post-defense. Smart, strong forwards could expose him in the block. LeBron James, a once-in-a-lifetime athlete, a colossus of longevity, but his flaws are clear. Free throws under pressure, too many misses when the game was on the line. Decision-making in the clutch too often. Pass first, too hesitant, giving away destiny instead of seizing it. Finals record 10 trips, 6 defeats. Greatness, yes. Perfection? Never. And then there's Jordan. Dissect his film. Tear apart his stats. Search every angle. There is no weakness. None. People used to say, he wasn't a three-point shooter. Wrong. He could hit them when needed. But the truth is, Jordan never needed to rely on the three, because he was already destroying teams with everything else. The mid-range fadeaway, unguardable, inevitable, death in motion, explosive drives that shredded entire defenses, finishing with either hand, over any big man, at any angle. Jordan didn't shoot threes often, not because he couldn't, but because he already had the game on lockdown everywhere else. And here's where LeBron fans fall silent. Jordan didn't just score. He locked you down on defense, too. 10 scoring titles. Devini Chemph All-Defensive First Team. Defensive Player of the Year in 1988, something LeBron never earned. Averaged over 30 points for his career, while still taking on the toughest defensive assignments every night. LeBron has the chase-down block. Jordan had an entire career of defensive dominance. LeBron has versatility. Jordan had perfection. No gaps. No cracks. No flaws. Put Jordan and LeBron side by side, and the truth is brutal. Against Jordan, there was no force him left, no exploit the mismatch, no attack his weak spot. There was no blueprint. Against LeBron, there were game plans. The Spurs in 2007 built a wall and dared him to shoot. Dallas in 2011 suffocated him, handing him the worst finals of his career. The Warriors preyed on his free throws, his hesitation, his cracks under the brightest lights. Jordan was a steel wall, flawless. LeBron is a monument, great but fractured when the spotlight burns brightest. That is why Robert Horry, the man with more rings than Jordan, Kobe, or LeBron, still bows his head and admits the truth. MJ is number one. No flaws, no cracks, nothing you could exploit. Kobe had a small flaw. LeBron has bigger ones. But Jordan? He is the absolute blueprint of basketball perfection, the golden standard every generation since has only tried, and failed, to fully replicate. Kobe Bryant. Almost perfect, but with a crack. If Jordan was perfection, then Kobe Bryant was the closest thing the basketball world ever saw to it. The footwork surgical, precise, copied straight from Jordan's playbook and drilled into muscle memory through countless dawn workouts. The fadeaway elegant, merciless, a dagger that silenced arenas. The mentality, the obsession with perfection, the relentless hunger to kill weakness both in himself and in his opponents. Kobe was not just great. He was engineered greatness, and yet, as Robert Horry revealed, even Kobe had a tiny crack in the armor. A flaw invisible to most fans, but clear to a man who stood beside him in battle. Kobe couldn't play post-defense, Horry said. That's why guys like Bonzi Wells gave him trouble. It wasn't offense. It was that one little thing on defense. Think about that. For all the thousands of hours Kobe poured into his craft, for all the weapons he sharpened, there remained one weakness that could be exploited by the right opponent. Not a gaping hole. Not something that defined him, but a flaw nonetheless. And this is where the hierarchy sharpens. Jordan. Flawless. A predator. With no weakness. Kobe. Near perfect, but with a single crack. LeBron. Great, but with several vulnerabilities that could be attacked. But don't mistake this truth for disrespect. Kobe's greatness was undeniable. He was 1B to Jordan's 1 ampere. When Jordan retired, it was Kobe who carried the torch of skill-based dominance. He was the echo of the GOAT, the mirror image that gave a new generation a glimpse of what true mastery looked like. Still, that tiny crack, the post-defense, the slight imperfection was enough to separate him from Jordan's absolute invincibility. Robert Horry knew it. He lived it. And that's why his words carry such weight. Kobe Bryant was almost perfect. But in the cruel calculus of the GOAT debate, almost is not enough. LeBron James. Great, but flawed. LeBron James is one of the greatest athletes to ever walk this earth. A body carved from steel. A fusion of power and grace the NBA had never seen before. At 6'9", 250 pounds, with the speed of a guard and the strength of a tank, he redefined what it meant to be a small forward. He is the all-time leading scorer. He has played more games at an elite level than anyone could have imagined. 2 decades of dominance, still posting 25, 8 seasons in his 20th year. No one in NBA history has stretched greatness across time the way LeBron has. And yet, Even giants cast shadows. Robert Horry, with all his championship wisdom, was clear. LeBron is a great player, but he has flaws. And the evidence is written in the game itself. Free throws. The simplest shot in basketball, yet LeBron's Achilles heel. Too many critical misses at the line when pressure peaked. Jordan turned the charity stripe into a dagger. LeBron turned it into a question mark. Clutch DNA. Where Jordan lived for the kill shot, and Kobe demanded it, LeBron sometimes passed it away. He trusted teammates when fans demanded he seize destiny. Admirable, yes. But in the GOAT debate, hesitation is a crack. Finals record, 10 trips, 6 losses. That is not nitpicking, that is history. For all his brilliance, LeBron walked off the biggest stage, defeated more often than he walked off victorious. Dallas 2011, San Antonio 2007, Golden State twice. These scars cannot be erased. This is not to deny LeBron's greatness. His resume is monumental. His longevity is unmatched. His versatility is astonishing. But greatness with cracks is not the same as perfection. That's the brutal hierarchy Robert Horry laid out. Jordan, no flaws. Kobe, almost perfect, one small crack. LeBron, great, but visibly flawed. And here's the cold truth. In the GOAT debate, visible flaws matter. Because when the margin is razor thin, even a single weakness is enough to separate gods from immortals. LeBron will always be remembered as a legend of endurance, a monument to sustained excellence. But he is not flawless, and in a debate where perfection is the throne, being great but flawed means you can never sit on it. The direct comparison. 3 legends, 3 legacies. 3 names, 3 giants, 3 legacies forever bound together in the fire of the GOAT debate. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. At first glance, all 3 seem cut from the same immortal stone. Dominant, legendary, untouchable, in their own ways. But when the game is stripped to its core, when flaws and perfections are measured under the harshest light, the differences blaze into view. Jordan, perfection. Jordan was the immovable standard. No cracks, no flaws. A complete package of offense, defense, leadership, and killer instinct. He didn't just win, he erased doubt. 6 finals, 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 10 scoring titles, Defensive Player of the Year, and a career that remains the blueprint of basketball perfection. Against Jordan, there was no strategy, no weakness to exploit. He was the final word. Kobe, almost perfect. Kobe was the echo, the mirror image, the closest thing the game ever had to Jordan's shadow. His skill set was sharpened to near perfection. His obsession gave us Mamba mentality, a creed of relentless pursuit that inspired millions. But even Kobe had a crack post defense, as Horry pointed out, and at times the inefficiency that came with his unyielding shot selection. Kobe was 1B, nearly identical to Jordan's 1 ampere, but nearly is not perfect. LeBron, great, but flawed. LeBron is a monument of time, the most complete physical specimen in league history. 20 years of dominance, records shattered, consistency unmatched. But greatness across time is not the same as perfection in the moment. Flaws followed him. Shaky free throws. Indecision in clutch moments. A finals record scarred by 6 defeats. He is 1C legendary, yes, but his cracks show under the brightest lights. This is the triangle Robert Horry drew with his words. Jordan, perfection. Kobe, almost perfect. LeBron, great but flawed. And that is why Jordan stands alone. Kobe fought valiantly to mirror him. LeBron carved his path with longevity and versatility. But only one man reached the summit without compromise. Only one man left no weakness, no doubt, no flaw. The verdict is as brutal as it is undeniable. Jordan doesn't just win the debate. He ends it. Rings, the final hammer. In the NBA, there are stats. There are awards. There are highlight reels. But when the dust settles, one truth stands above them all. Rings don't lie. And this, more than anything else, is where Michael Jordan slams the door shut. 6 trips to the finals. 6 championships. 6 finals MVPs. A flawless 6-0 record on basketball's biggest stage. Jordan didn't just collect rings. He perfected them. Every time he reached the mountaintop, he planted his flag. No Game 7 losses. No excuses. no scars. Just victory, repeated with surgical precision. Kobe Bryant? 5 rings. A legendary achievement. He clawed his way to the summit, sometimes with Shaq, sometimes alone. But even Kobe, with all his fire, finished one step behind Jordan. LeBron James? 4 rings. Hard-earned, historic, unforgettable. 2012 and 2013 inches Miami. The miracle of 2016 inches Cleveland. The bubble championship in 2020. Each title mattered, each title carried weight. But alongside those 4 stand 6 finals defeats 6 times walking off the court while another team celebrated. Robert Horry, the man with 7 rings of his own, understood this truth better than anyone. That's why you put MJ first, and he's got more rings than all of them. It wasn't just the number, it was the perfection. Jordan's 6 are worth more than Kobe's 5 or LeBron's 4 because they are flawless. They represent a career where the brightest lights never burned him, where destiny never slipped away, where every ending was written with him holding the trophy. Kobe nearly reached him. LeBron built a mountain of stats around him, but neither could match the ultimate scoreboard of greatness. In the end, the math is merciless. Jordan, 6 rings, 0 losses. Kobe, 5 rings. LeBron, 4 rings, 6 losses. Perfection, almost perfect. Great but flawed, and that is the hammer, the final strike. The truth no fan, no analyst, no generation can erase. Michael Jordan's throne is sealed in gold.